All right, welcome everybody. Appreciate everybody who's taking a chance to listen to this. My name is Ryan Jaten, and I do have a special guest here today. I got Sanjay here from the marketing agency, the digital marketing agency. We're really looking forward to this conversation. Before we get started, I know everybody wants to hear from Sanjay, but before we get started, I just want to set this up properly. In my business and what we currently do, we service clients that sell different products. We service clients in almost every time zone around the world. And one of the most common questions that I get from my clients is, hey, Ryan, we want to grow. We want more exposure. We want to scale. How do we do it? And the answer to that question always comes down to digital marketing or your digital footprint or growing through the internet. And that's what I mean by digital marketing. And, I share that with people. I say, well, you need to really start investing in SEO and paid ad spend and all that kind of stuff. And they're like, okay, great. Who do I talk to? Like, what do I say? And where do I find somebody who's really good at this? And just as a service to my audience and to anybody else that's watching this later on recording, I went out and visited with a good friend of mine. I've been consulting with Sanjay for, gosh, a little over a year now. And it's been great getting to know him and what he does. And I thought, you know what, rather than me give people a little bit of information, why don't I go find an expert? And if I can go find an expert, ask him a bunch of questions about digital marketing and what it means and how it impacts people, what are some of the costs, and why do people do it? I thought, couldn't think of a better person than Sanjay. So appreciate Sanjay being here. I'm going to bring him out in just a minute. But before I do that, I want to make something super, super clear. I want to start the conversation by setting the stage of what is digital marketing? What does it do? And is it important? Is it an impactful in our industry right now? And it really is. And that's why I brought Sanjay here to get you some information. But just let me put this in perspective. In 2023, they're projecting that there will be $300 billion of money spent just in the United States on digital advertising. 300 billion. Okay. That is the number one spend of any country in the world, including bigger markets like China or Japan or things like that. In fact, in 2022, 67% of all ad revenue worldwide, 67% of all ad revenue worldwide was spent in digital marketing, was spent online. Those numbers just are big. They should just absolutely blow your mind. Sanjay's going, yeah, of course they are. He's shaking his head over there. And here's the significance of why it impacts your business. They did a study very recently. In fact, the study was done about 18 months ago. And they found that 81% of all retail face-to-face purchases are preceded by a web search. Okay. People walking into Best Buy, people walking into a clothing store, people walking in to buy technology or buy something. Before they walk in the store, they search for it online, either on their phone or on their computer. 81% of retail purchases are preceded by a web search. What does that tell us? It tells us that if you are not online, it tells us that if you don't have a digital footprint, it tells us that if somebody searches your niche and they can't find you, you don't exist. So digital marketing has grown and just completely surpassed all other marketing channels. Okay, I think most of you, if you're in business, I don't know what age you are or who's listening to this, but I know Sanjay and I can remember the days when there was one predominant way to advertise. And it was called the yellow pages. Okay. There's a Sanjay, there's a group of people here that don't know what the yellow pages are, but there's also a group that do know what the yellow pages are. And you used to spend money on a quarter-inch ad or a half-page ad or a full-page ad to be in this thing called a phone book. And when people wanted to find a local dry cleaner or an attorney locally, they'd have to open this physical phone book. It was about that thick. And they'd have to search alphabetically for attorneys and then find, and usually whoever had the biggest ad in the phone book was the one that got probably most of the phone calls. And they would charge hundreds, if not thousands of dollars for different niches in the phone book. That has not changed. It hasn't changed. Just the media where it's pushed is changed. Okay. The concept of advertising in a centralized location so that people can find you We're still doing that today. We just do it digitally through the internet, through things like Google search, through Facebook ads, through a lot of different things. But that phone book has now been digitized and put online, and people can access it from all over the world. So digital advertising isn't up and coming. Digital advertising isn't this fringe thing. Digital advertising is becoming the only way to be noticed and recognized. So if you're a small business, if you're a solopreneur, if you're a medium-sized business, a big business, and you're looking to grow your business, then I think we have a treat in store for you as we jump in and start talking to Sanjay about his agency and what exactly they do and how they do it. So Sanjay, thanks for being here today. Thanks for letting me kind of carry on for the first few minutes of this conversation. But like I said earlier, people really are here to hear you and not me. And I think I'm just going to start bombarding you with questions that I get asked quite a bit from my clients. Is that fair enough?
Yes, please go ahead. Thank you for having me.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about your agency, okay, about the marketing markers.
So marketing markers, my agency provide a wide range of services tailored to meet the small businesses across the various industries. While we work with all the businesses, we have a particular specialization for law firms and attorneys. So our digital marketing agency offers a comprehensive range of services, like we do the design and development of the websites.
Okay.
We do search engine optimization. You were talking about it a minute ago. We do social media marketing, and the social media channels can be like your LinkedIn platform, your Instagram, your Facebook platform. We do post there. We do advertisement there. We do content, compelling content creation, paid advertisement, email campaigns. We do all of those stuff. I mean, these are all kind of trying to create a digital footprint of any business, a small, medium size, as you said.
Okay, so if I'm a relatively small or medium-sized business, and I say, "Gosh, this sounds great. I want to increase my digital footprint." It sounds like it's not just one channel. It sounds like it's a very comprehensive scope of many channels to get the biggest impact. Is that correct?
That is absolutely right, though. And it's not really the short answer is like, it's not really that, hey, one size fits all kind of thing. It's kind of a lot of analysis goes behind the scenes, wherein we say we just sit with the customer, understand their challenges, their goals, and define what channel is actually going to be appropriate for their businesses, their challenge, their market. And then we go with the strategy. It's nothing like a cookie cutter kind of thing, but we define a very customized way of going with each and every customers. Yep.
Okay. In business, like I have a lot of customers that some are very tech savvy, some are very social media savvy, and some of them are on the opposite end of the spectrum. And I think you guys know who I'm talking about. But the people on the other side of the spectrum are people that are like, social media, I tense up, or the idea of technology, or the idea of being an influencer. Digital marketing really is not just those things, right? Like, what are some of the more basic or more the easier places that you can go to get some attention online without being this influencer running around with a camera in my face all day?
So the main thing, which the primary thing where people can get like really good bang for the buck is really the Google profile, which is a very, very important stuff and very easy to do it. It's a do it yourself kind of thing. You can create your own profiles. You can create posts on there. You can take reviews. You can ask review from a customer, and it's very, very easy to do it. That gives your ball rolling, and people start noticing you. They can find you on the search. This is a very easy way to start anything. I mean, once you're trying to expand it, then the other thing will start playing a role. Other channels will start playing a role. How do you want to grow and stuff like that? But Google business profile, creation of that and working along with that is fantastically helps a lot of customers of mine.
Okay. So if I wanted to contract your services, like I'm using the phone book, I'm using the Yellow Pages analogy. Okay. If somebody came to me and said, I want to sell you a Yellow Pages ad, I would just have to say yes. The actual advertiser is the one that builds all the assets, builds the page, builds the ad, builds all the content. Like, does your company offer services where if I'm not a creative person, you can create the ads for me?
Yes, absolutely. So when you come to our company, this is what we do. We analyze your business first, and we say if the ad is to be created, yes, we do create advertisement for you. We do publish the advertisement for you. We create the compelling contents, any kind of images you need. We do all 9 yards, and everything is like done by us, and we take your approval, we show it to you, authorize it, and go ahead and do the ads. Definitely, you don't have to do anything for this one. We take your completely end-to-end process.
Okay. You just relieved the tension of a lot of people listening. That's okay. So you guys do have the ability to create the stuff for people. So I don't have to be a social media expert to get some attention online. Like that's what the agency like you would do, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
That is correct.
I mentioned earlier, and by the way, the stats that I mentioned earlier when we opened up, I just Googled them because I was really curious. I was really fascinated by the stats and like what is going on in the world of digital advertising. I talked about $300 billion of advertising just in the US market alone. I have to imagine that it's not happening by all one company. Okay. There's a lot of agencies out there. I know this for a fact because I've referred clients to some agencies like yours. But with all these agencies, if I type in digital marketing, I'm going to find a lot of ads for other agencies. If I'm looking to find somebody to help me grow my business, grow my exposure online, give me some authority, give me some legitimacy through exposure online, and I wanted to hire your company, what sets you apart? Like what makes you guys different than other agencies that I might be able to hire?
So I mentioned very briefly earlier when you were up, while I was trying to talk about my services. See, what we have really is a very customized approach. Really, like whenever any businesses comes to me and saying that, hey, I need some services or stuff like that, what we do is we work with them. We understand what their challenges, goals, and needs are, what market they are, what audience they have, and where they are currently in their business, what is not working. There are so many criterias. We sit with them, evaluate it before we say, okay, this is what is going to be working for you. Some people have, or some businesses have Google profile not set up. So we help them creating the Google profile as a first step, because I mean, if you cannot find on Google, then you don't exist pretty much. So other than that, if somebody's already set up, then they need to grow and scale. There are other channels like, hey, where are your customers there? How do you find your customers? How can I reach your customers? Who are your customers really? So it's very important to understand the whole 9 yards of the business along the challenges and say, this is where you are currently, where you like to be in a year, 3 years down the line. What is your vision? Then we come back and we create the business strategies and we follow that. And it could involve one or many channels and many phases to actually reach there. And yeah, that's a way we actually work with the team or the customers really.
Okay. So you had mentioned the word cookie cutter earlier. You guys are the opposite of a cookie cutter. You're actually customizing a design and a strategy for each one of your clients. Is that right?
That is correct. That's it.
Okay. So you could hire an agency that just follows a template, or you could hire somebody that does it very personalized and very customized like yours.
That is correct. And people will find a lot of agencies who already have packages that, hey, the silver package, a premium package, a basic package. They're just trying to sell the packages out to you guys. That packages may or may not work sometimes, but I'm not saying that the packages are bad or good. I'm just saying that unless you understand what the problem is, you should not come back and say this is going to work. It's like you're going to a doctor and saying that doctor gives you the medicine without asking you the symptoms. You need to know the symptoms before you prescribe something. That is what exactly our approach is. We need to understand the business and the challenges and the issues first before we say that what will potentially will work for your business to grow and scale.
That sounds like malpractice, right? Okay.
That is very true.
This question probably is more personal to me, but hopefully this resonates with other people listening to this. The reason why I don't do digital marketing myself in my own company, the reason why I outsource it is because I feel like as soon as I learn something in technology, or I learn something in advertising, or this digital marketing world, it changes. I go to a seminar and I hear about this cool technique or this cool strategy, and I think I know something, but then 30 days, 60 days, 6 months later, it's not working as well. So if that's true, how do you guys stay on top of the learning curve? How do you stay on top of the ever-changing environment of technology and digital advertising? Like, what do you guys do to stay fresh?
See, very true, actually, and in especially the last 3-4 years, the technology has taken a huge leap, like a decade's worth of leap, and the digital landscape is always evolving. So there are a lot of trends. We know that there are a lot of trends. What we have, like mobile trends are going. People are going more mobile. People are going more voice. People are going artificial intelligence is kind of playing a big role. People are going with the personalized experience. That's going to come again. Like, hey, I get my personal experience. Everybody coming in and giving them a personal experience versus a generic experience. So what we do really is we proactively educate and guide our clients and ourselves and my team itself, saying that what are the upcoming technologies and stuff. We do internal trainings also, internal training for our team members to just keep up. And also we go to the clients and educate our clients also. I love giving trainings to my clients too, so that they understand what's coming up. It's not that I want them to implement something or execute something, but awareness is a very big factor, because I want my clients to be very well aware that, hey, artificial intelligence is coming, AI is coming, and this is how things are going to change. This is how we're going to pivot. This is how we're going to do things differently now. Personalization will change, things like that. So there are a lot of training, internal training and external trainings we provide to our clients and to our internal team members to just keep up to the technology.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a big issue for me. I'm sure it is for a lot of people. Like, oh, it changes so much. I'm glad you guys stay on top of it. Um, if I wanted to hire your agency, okay, to represent my company, give me an idea of what it looks like. Like let's say I reached out and contacted you today. What are the first steps, the second steps? Like, how much time does it take before we're in some kind of process or some kind of motion to seeing a result? Like, what does that process look like to get launched with you guys?
So it's the process of launching generally varies by the market, by the customer, by niche, challenges you have in the market. Where do you stand on the Google profile list? It could be variations of things. Again, the analysis is required, but generally I've seen very quick results. Like, for example, I work with a photography company which came up to me recently, or like few months ago, and they were like kind of lower in their zip code and not working very well. So it took them 4 or 5 months to be number one in their jurisdiction. And now that lady came back to me and she said she opened a new office versus she was trying to shut down the business. So that's a huge leap. It took us 4 or 5 months to get her there. Again, it also depends on what kind of competitors you have in that area, how long the competitors are working in that area. So again, it's not a one answer I can give it to you, depending on the size of the industry, depending on the size of the market, competition in the market, and things like that. And if you are going with a smaller one zip code versus the entire state, the competition is different. You have a lot of other big players playing their role. So yeah, it ranges. Sometimes it is like a good things. I've seen that in 3 months, and sometimes it take a year for somebody to get to the point where they want it to be. So it varies depending upon what stage of the process they are and how strong the market or the competition is on their side which they're competing against.
Okay. And do you guys go through and do an analysis of the business and do a proposal and show? You said it varies. So if I were to contact you, do you go through like a kind of a market scope and really provide a proposal of what it would look like to work with you guys, so that I was really clear before we got started?
Yes, absolutely. We actually go ahead and do a current as is business audit, or I would say online or a digital presence audit for you, tell you where you stand currently, where in terms of what your Google presence is, how's your competitors are looking like, what is your SEO look like, how good or bad your websites are in terms of ranking, and how your website performances is. All those 9 years we do, all including the competitors, we check it on them also, seeing that what they are doing. So we'll give a very comprehensive analysis to know where we stand currently. And then we come back and say, this is how we strategize and we move forward and help your businesses to move forward. That only then we come and strategize, because every business, every competition or every niche is very different in that way.
Okay, awesome. Well, I imagine you guys don't work for free, so I have to ask one of the most important questions. Let's talk about costs. Like, I know my customers are watching this going, yeah, sounds great, but what does it cost? Like, do you have a flat fee structure, or give me some idea of what I should budget if I wanted to hire an agency such as yours?
Excellent question, actually. So the cost actually varies, because I told you in the beginning that we don't have a cookie cutter thing, so I cannot give you a cost right there. The point is, the moment we do analysis, the cost varies. Now, depending upon what your business is, like if you're a startup company and you just started in a very small company, well, the cost could range from like $500 to $700 a monthly fees, versus a company which is like been very established and like 50 to 100 kind of employees, the cost can actually go up to like $7,000, $8,000 also. Again, it varies depending on what kind of goals you have, what would you like to achieve, how would you like to grow, and and then we come back and say how much work is required to get you there, what are various channels we are trying to do. So again, it varies, very varies, but a solopreneur can actually start a small and grow. As they grow, they can say I would like to add more and more details and more what you call it promotions can be done. But a well-established company can have a lot of information already, and they're like, hey, we are at this level, we wanted to take it to the next level. Yes, that is
Okay.
required a lot more effort and work. So yeah, the cost varies.
Okay, so if I heard you correctly, if I'm fairly small, brand new, just getting started, um, I'm going to have less demands on your company, and it could be as low as $500 a month. I mean, that's unusually, like, I'm surprised to hear that it was that low, because in my mind, I'm thinking you're hiring an entire marketing department, you're hiring an SEO department, you're hiring a fractional expert for $500 a month. I mean, imagine the cost if you had to bring somebody internally and employ them. You're not going to hire somebody that can do all this for $500 a month. So budget wise, people are like, how much does it cost? On the small end, you're looking at about $500 a month as service fees to your company. As you grow and as you scale, it could grow from there. If somebody's asking you to, 10x their company, and it's going to require a lot of creative, I mean, it can get more and more expensive there, but you'll sit down with them and really show them exactly what the monthly fees are, because it is very unique to their niche, right?
Yes, that is true. That is
Okay.
very true. Yep.
Okay. Awesome. Going to start winding down here. I appreciate the time, but before I do, one of my favorite quotes is, if you want something done right, don't do it yourself. Hire an expert. So Sanjay, if somebody wanted to hire you, if somebody had some questions, if they wanted to reach out, I appreciate your time today. I think one of the things I can give back to you is to have you just do a plug, have you do some type of advertisement here on my show. So if you wouldn't mind, how can somebody get a hold of you, and how does that process look like?
So they can visit my website, and my website is marketingmarkers.com, and I can publish the details on that. And there is a contact us form, they can fill it up, which comes to me, and I can make an appointment. You can make an appointment on the website, or you can directly write an email to me. My name is Sanjay Khetarpaal, so you can write Sanjay K, last name of the last name, first initial of the last name, at marketingmarkers.com, Sanjay K at marketingmarkers.com. And the email come directly to me, and we can start from there.
Okay, so I see your name on my screen. I think everybody can see it. Sanjay, SANJAY, the letter K,
Yes,
at marketingmarkers.com, right?
that is correct. That is correct.
And then I'm going to test something real quick. I don't even know if this works, but does this QR code work if I hold my camera up?
Yes, I think it'll work.
Oh, that's too easy. That's just
Yes.
way too easy. For those of you who are watching this, I just scanned the QR code on the screen, and it took me directly to his intake form. But if you want to email Sanjay directly, just send it to Sanjay K at marketingmarkers.com, as marketing, just as it sounds, and markers, like a Sharpie, like markers, plural.com. And he'll get that.
It's on the right side. If you see the logo, it has marketing markers. So,
Yeah, there you go. And then, or you can just scan the QR code and that'll get you there. Sanjay, thank you so much for your time. This is a lot of good information. I think it gave me some perspective on, what it takes, why we would do it, and exactly what you guys do. I hope this generates some interest for you. I hope that this answered a lot of questions for those of you that are watching this. Sanjay, any last words before we wrap up?
no, I would appreciate, Ryan. Thank you so much for having me. And I think this is great platform. And I'm glad that I'm able to help people around it. Thank you so
Good.
much for inviting
Hey,
me.
thank you so much for your time. Like I said, for those of you that are interested in visiting with Sanjay, you can tell he's a very thorough, very analytical person. If you want that kind of horsepower behind your company to help you grow, so that as people are out there searching the internet, as they're stumbling across ads, they stumble across you. this service will take you from anonymous and irrelevant to actually producing and growing a business. So if this is something you're looking forward to, reach out to Sanjay. Sanjay, thank you so much for your time. We're going to go ahead and wrap up, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
Thank you.